Hello everyone, welcome back to Oculus Occulta. My name is KiKi, and today we'll be looking at all the different meanings of the Lover's card from the Rider-Waite Tarot deck. Let's go ahead and start. We begin as usual by describing what we see on the card as a picture. We see a naked couple, male and female, standing side by side with a large angelic figure above and between them. Behind the angel is a large bright yellow sun. There is a tree with a snake wrapped around the trunk behind the woman, and a tree with 12 small flames sprouting from it behind the man. Immediately between the two standing figures is a gray cloud, and in the distance between them we see a single mountain or pyramid in the middle of the card. The sky behind them is blue. Overall, this card is quite colorful, but I would say yellow and gray predominate. We will be sourcing Teresa Reed's tarot coloring book for the color symbolism, and according to Reed, yellow represents intelligence, creativity, students, positivity, and healing, while gray represents depression and mystery. Before we fully jump into the symbolism and meanings of the Lover's card, I would like to preface our main discussion by saying that the Lover's card has been unfairly stereotyped to have one very obvious meaning. Without doubt, this card does in fact have to do with lovers, with love in general, and with relationships of various kinds. However, this card is actually also about important choices and making decisions that have life-changing consequences. As we will soon see, this card is much more versatile than it lets on at face value. In the Marseille deck, which predates the Rider-Waite, the Lover card depicts a rather ambiguous situation involving three people and the cherub Cupid. I say that the image is ambiguous because we don't know for sure who the three people in the card are. Some say it is a priest officiating a marriage or union between a young man and a woman, with Cupid above them implying the love connection. Some say it's a young man introducing his fiancée to his mother. Still others suggest it is a man in the middle of two women, from which he must choose one as his lover. The ultimate decision, however, may lie with Cupid, suggesting the oft-quoted phrase, "the heart wants what it wants," or "love is blind." Interestingly, too, in the Marseille deck, the card is called the Lover, singular, not lovers, plural, strongly suggesting the last situation described, a single person who must make a relationship choice and choose between two people. In the Oswald Worth deck, the dilemma of choice is much more emphasized, as the three people are a bit more unambiguously defined. We see that the young man in the middle of the card is being persuaded by two women flanking him. The man's eyes are closed, and above him, Cupid, blindfolded, is ready to strike. Whomever the young man looks at first after being struck by Cupid's arrow will be the chosen woman. We could theoretically still say this man is introducing his fiancée to his mother, and we could also theoretically still insist that this is a marriage or romantic binding ceremony between two people and an officiator, but the scenario in which a man must choose a lover is much more plausible with this particular deck. Now, with that context in mind, we come back to the Rider-Waite image and reevaluate the relationship between these three entities. First of all, we have gone from 4 entities to 3 on this card. 1 man, 1 woman, and an angel between the two. The angel is commonly cited as being Raphael, the archangel of healing. However, despite many modern sources agreeing on this point, neither Rider nor Waite explicitly claim that this is Raphael, or even an angel at all. They simply called it a winged figure. Notwithstanding, we can at least assume that this winged entity is holy to some degree and represents a higher consciousness, with some suggesting that it represents the higher self or the superego. It's also often said that the winged figure is blessing the union of the two standing figures, which further supports the idea of marriage or a relationship that is officiated, facilitated, or encouraged in some way by a third party, such as a priest, a parent, or a counselor. The two people are implied to be the biblical figures Adam and Eve. It is worth noting that the story of Adam and Eve from the Old Testament of the Christian Bible is only one piece of literature regarding these two Abrahamic figures. In Jewish scripture, there is robust lore that outlines the lives and trials of Adam and Eve, both before and after their banishment from the Garden of Eden. In the Jewish scriptures, you will find the story of Lilith, Adam's first wife, who refused to submit to him. After she left to become queen of the demons, God created the more submissive and obedient Eve for him to wed. That's a story for another time, but suffice it to say, the implication that these two figures are Adam and Eve lies in the fact that they are naked, they stand before a holy angelic entity in something that looks like a garden landscape, and that the two trees behind them were both found in the Garden of Eden. The tree behind Eve is the tree of knowledge of good and evil, while the tree behind Adam is the tree of life, both of which were mentioned in the book of Genesis. The serpent wrapped around the tree of knowledge is known in both Christian and Jewish literature to be the creature that tricked and tempted Eve to eat the forbidden fruit, thus causing her to disobey God. She then unwittingly tempted Adam, and for their disobedience they were both exiled from paradise. The interesting thing to note about that story is that Eve was tempted and thus had to make a decision to either strictly follow God's word or listen to the creature who tricked her. She made her decision, and it was, unfortunately for her and Adam, final. And so, in this regard, the classical meaning of making life-changing decisions is implied in the Lover's card, even in the Rider-Waite imagery. Adam and Eve here are naked, implying their innocence. In the Bible, it was said that they did not hide their nakedness because they were not ashamed of it. This implies purity, as well as regarding the body in a non-sexual nature. We tend to connect the nakedness on this card with sexuality, but it is more indicative of being completely open, honest, transparent, and vulnerable, not just in general, but also within important relationships. We mentioned a moment ago that the winged figure may represent superconsciousness. Traditionally, we ascribe Adam, or the divine masculine, with consciousness, and Eve, or the divine feminine, with the subconscious. Interesting to note is the fact that Adam is looking at Eve, but Eve is looking up at the angel. This implies that we cannot reach the higher self through the conscious mind, but rather through the medium of the subconscious. The tree of knowledge in the biblical story bore fruit that, if eaten, would give the consumer knowledge about right and wrong, good and evil, or more broadly, knowledge about morality. Because of this, some authors have attributed one's ethical convictions to the Lover's card. One way in which we can see how the ideas of decision-making, love, and morality come into play is in a scenario wherein someone is in a committed relationship, but is tempted to stray by someone they meet and begin to get to know. It depends on that person's moral compass to decide whether or not cheating on their partner is acceptable to their conscience or not. It is not necessarily a question of love, as many people insist that they do not cheat on their partner for lack of love, but rather for weakness of their own moral character, because they simply gave in to temptation. Someone was available, they had an opportunity, and they took it. In the event that their spouse finds out about the indiscretion, and perhaps is angry enough to exit the relationship, then we can say that the decision to cheat had life-changing consequences. Many people regret cheating on a partner, but, much like the regret Adam and Eve felt for eating the apple, their feelings of remorse may not always change the outcome of the situation. The single mountain between the two standing figures has been interpreted in multiple ways throughout various sources. Some say it represents obstacles, as we have seen before in The Fool and the Emperor. If so, then this particular mountain may represent the obstacles that can present themselves within a relationship between people, especially people who love each other. Other sources suggest a spiritual climb, and even others suggest that it's a phallic symbol representing the sexuality between the individuals in question. I'd like to now address the most straightforward meaning ascribed to this card, which is that of romantic love. The Lover's card, like the Death card, tends to be seen by popular culture as being one-dimensional. It seems almost too obvious what these two cards mean, especially when compared to something like Temperance or the Hierophant. However, as we have very briefly seen so far, the Lover's card means much more than just two people in a romantic relationship, although it does also mean that. It talks about important decisions, personal morality, and love in general, not just romantic love. As many of you may already know, the Greek philosophers of antiquity described 7 kinds of love, including eros, or romantic, sexually charged love, philia, or the love we have for our closest friends, ludos, or a playful, flirty type of love, such as that seen between newly coupled individuals, storge, or familial love, such as the love a parent has for a child or siblings have for each other, and philautia, or self-love, such as the love we show ourselves when we take care of our personal hygiene and stand up for ourselves. This is not the type of self-love that is interpreted as narcissistic, though. Pragma, which is committed and long-term love, such as that seen within couples who choose to start a family together. And finally, agape, which includes love for humanity as a whole, love for God, love for the less fortunate, love for animals, etc. Agape is the type of love that is the basis for altruism and selfless kindness towards others, strangers, nature, and so on. To give you a quick and fun example of some of these types of love in action, I would use the pop culture icons, the Addams Family matriarch and patriarch, Morticia and Gomez Addams, as a wonderful example of pragma, eros, and ludos. Pragma because obviously the two of them have a family that they adore and dote over. Eros because Gomez cannot keep his hands off of Morticia and always tells her how much she turns him on. And ludos because the two of them, despite having been together for many years, are always incredibly playful with each other, dancing, sword fighting, and scheming together in playful fashion. I've often heard people say that the love between these two gave them a healthy goal to aim for in their own search for a significant other. I couldn't agree more, and this is why they were chosen for this video's thumbnail. To give you another, more personal view of how the Lover's card can have meanings that go beyond romantic relationships, I want to quickly talk about a client of mine who was in medical school and was having trouble passing a licensing exam. This woman mentioned that she had always wanted to be a doctor, but that she struggled through medical school, and now that she needed to pass an important exam, she was finding that she cannot pass the practice exam set in place by her medical school. Once it was becoming clear that she might not become a doctor, she fell into a very severe depression and sought advice from tarot readers. By the time she came to me, she mentioned that whenever she asks about whether or not she should keep trying for medicine, or if she should quit and go do something else, she said the Lover's card would always show up. She said that no matter who she talked to, the Lover's card always came up, and almost every single time, the conversation would be directed towards a soulmate pairing, which she was not interested in. These interpretations frustrated and confused her, as it seemed no matter how much she asked about this very life-changing decision of whether to push herself and stay in medicine or leave to do something else in her life, the tarot readers would keep talking about twin flames and soulmates instead. So why the disconnect? The Lover's card was effectively stalking this woman, not only because she was asking about a life-changing decision, but because medicine was the love of her life. She stated that she wanted to go into medicine as a child, and everything she ever did in her life revolved around that career. She was singularly focused in her life on medical studies, and when she found that she was not doing well in all of her classes and that she was having problems with exams, she panicked and fell into a depression. She took a year off of school to study, but in that time she gained over 100 pounds, went on and off antidepressants, and sought help for suicidal ideation. I think it's safe to say, if there was such a thing as a twin flame or a soulmate, then for her it was medical science, not some man. However, she and the tarot readers only had a one-dimensional view of this card, giving her inaccurate readings and frustrating her in the process. She would get upset with the readers, insisting that she was already in a loving and committed relationship, and that her biggest concern was her career, not romance. And the tarot readers were insisting that the cards have spoken and that they were more focused on talking about her twin flame. Furthermore, she didn't even believe in the concept of soulmates or twin flames anyway, which made the situation even more frustrating for her. This, to me, is akin to mistranslation. The Lover's card was effectively stalking this woman whenever she asked this question because it represented the dilemma itself. The surrounding cards would have been giving insight into what directions she would have to consider. However, the sad thing is, the conversation was always misdirected towards romantic relationships because it is so difficult for people to separate this card from the idea of eros. This woman, in my opinion, was epitomizing agape love, as she had a love for medicine and service to others. If anything, the Lover's card should have been talking about that kind of love, not the love for a twin flame or a soulmate. In the shadow aspect, we see the Lover's card as a toxic relationship, fraught with fighting, misunderstanding, neglect, indifference, dishonesty, secrets, and possibly outright abuse. It is the very few and fortunate among us who can say they have never been in at least one lousy relationship in the course of their lives at the very least. Many of us have, unfortunately, been in relationships that were more than just lousy, they were dangerous and emotionally damaging. With regards to the other meanings ascribed to the Lover's card, the shadow aspect can also represent making detrimental choices, a failing of moral character, and separating from some relationship, such as from a marriage, from one's parents, or even from a career, school, or home that one loves. Numerologically speaking, the Lovers is card 6 and thus is associated with the other 6s in the tarot deck, including card number 15, the Devil. Remember that we reduce double digits by adding them down to a single digit, and thus the 1 and the 5 of 15 give us 6. According to numerous sources, the number 6 represents cooperation, harmony, and mutual aid. In the Lover's card, the harmony we talk about is not just the kind found in our relationships, but also the harmony we feel when we behave in ethical and moral ways. It also may speak to the harmony of making a good decision, the peace we feel when we realize that we did, in fact, act for our own best interest, both immediately and in the long run. Cooperation would make sense, as this card has to do with us and the important people in our lives. Classically, it is people we love, whether that is a significant other, a parent, a child, a sibling, a friend, or humanity in general. Cooperation here would include mutual love and understanding, as well as mutual aid in times of trouble. To contrast that, we see the devil looks like the complete shadow reflection of the Lover's card, complete with a devil instead of an angel in the middle between the two standing figures. We will go over the devil card in much more detail in the future, but for now, relating this card to the number 6, the Christian concept of the devil's association with the angel number 666 is quite well known in popular culture. I call it an angel number because, quite frankly, it is an angel number. It just happens to be associated with a fallen angel. But more on that later. The concept of cooperation is lost in the devil card, as the two individuals in the image are chained and bound to the devil's feet. This implies a loss of free will, and without free will, one is not in a position to cooperate with anyone in any capacity. If you seek help from the people in the devil card, good luck, because they have their own problems right now, and are in no position to be doling out help or charity while they are bound. We will see later that two main associations with the devil card include substance abuse and obsessions. In this kind of energy, we see a breakdown of harmony, or the need for harmony as someone is in a chaotic situation. There is much nuance involved in both the lovers and the devil. However, to say that the devil represents a complete shadow reflection for the lovers does not require a stretch of the imagination. The similarities between the two cards remind us of how tenable our situation as human beings can be, and how sometimes good things can go bad rather quickly if we are not careful. Astrologically, the Lover's card is associated with the zodiac sign of Gemini, a mutable air sign, which is ruled by the planet Mercury. Here we see the theme of communication in both Gemini and Mercury, in addition to duality and cooperation. Geminis are known for their quick wit, open communication, outgoing personalities, and intelligence. In their shadow aspect, however, they can be moody, indecisive, and unreliable. Gemini and the representative twins implies two things that are actually one. Scientifically speaking, monozygotic twins or identical twins share the same DNA. This can cause a philosophical dilemma, as questions may arise about self-identity. Without getting into all of that, let's just say that Gemini and the twins imagery reminds us of the reconciliation of two separate or even opposite things coming together as one, such as is the purpose of a marriage, for instance. We can also extend this idea to ourselves as we attempt to reconcile our shadow self with our light self, or our id with our superego, or the good versus the evil within all of us. Once again, we see the theme of personal morality through the lens of Gemini. So now that we've gone over the major symbology of the lovers, let's go over some of the specific meanings ascribed to this card, starting with the general upright meanings. The general upright meaning of the lovers may include love of all kinds, not just romantic, marriage, commitment, unions of all kinds, a business partner, two separate things coming together to be one, choice, decisions, especially those that are important and life-changing, choosing between two things, such as people, careers, schools, etc., duality, attraction, divine intervention, a blessed union or decision, a new relationship, a crush or romantic interest, pets, a close friend, a best friend, a loving family member, twin flames, soulmates, these can be either romantic or platonic, twins, a dream job or career, life's purpose, soul's calling, a matchmaker, an arranged marriage or someone who introduces a couple, marriage or couples counselor, and a tempting offer. The general reverse meanings of the lovers include disunion or separation, quarrels between loved ones, feelings or hurt. A loved one is upset, hurt, or angry, but the love is still there. A decision must be made. Time is running out to choose. Beware of the wrong decision, a bad choice. Moral failing, giving in to a temptation, cheating, lying, hiding things from a partner or family. splitting up, divorce, moving away, leaving home. The dream job is not right for you. Union or partnership falls through. One-sided feelings, unrequited love. Looking for a commitment or relationship where there isn't one. Sexual incompatibility, no sexual attraction. False, fake, or fair-weathered friends. Rocky or toxic relationship. Pursuing someone who will never be serious. Chasing a fantasy with respect to relationships. Pursuing a relationship that's not grounded in reality. The upright lovers in a love relationship or sex reading may include all kinds of love, all kinds of loving relationships between people. A committed relationship, engagement or marriage. The dream or ideal relationship. Thoughts of love and marriage. Open, honest communication between people. Not hiding anything from the partner. Attraction, romantic interest, sexual compatibility and passion, sexual consummation, choosing between two or more partners or suitors, twin flame or soulmate connections, dating, flirting, a romantic meeting, constantly thinking about and considering the partner, classically romantic type of partner, dates, flowers, gifts, chocolates, etc. A positive, helpful third-party influence on a relationship, a blessed or approved of relationship, couples counseling to encourage healthy communication. The reversed lovers in a love relationship and sex meaning may include separation, breakup, or divorce, running away from a partner or family, toxic relationships, destructive relationships, constant fighting, disharmony between people, misunderstandings, miscommunications, lost passion, loss of interest or attraction, sexual incompatibility, sex without love or commitment, bored in the bedroom, loss of libido, impotence, dishonor, disloyalty, not considering the partner, a strong, even soulmate connection, but cannot be together for whatever reason, one-sided love affair, unrequited love, relationship with no foundation, unrealistic partnerships, chasing an unavailable person, needing couples counseling for miscommunication issues, infidelity, cheating, starting an affair, fear of commitment or simply not wanting commitment at this time, end of love, no longer interested, immature or naive view on a relationship, unrealistic expectations, outside forces keeping a couple apart, a negative or destructive third-party influence on a relationship, leaving one partner for another. The upright lovers as they relate to money, work, and school may include the dream job or career, soul's calling, life's purpose, you were born to do this, a flourishing business, happy, healthy relationship with work, employers, and employees, loving your job or the way you make money, loving your school or the subjects you study, making important financial or educational decisions, choosing between two or more jobs, companies, schools, areas of study, business partners, etc., having one's morality tested at work or school, being tempted to lie, cheat, or steal. Money needed comes in, loans are approved, investments flourish, blessings or luck with respect to money and education, exams passed, honors and recognitions for effort. Must be decisive, whatever you choose will work out. Cooperation, group projects, collaboration, good communication. A big merger, two groups become one, consolidation. A dream home, dream car, dream investment, dream school, etc. The reverse lovers in a money, work, or school reading may include important financial or educational decisions that are paralyzing. Fear of making the wrong choice leads to inaction. A bad or wrong choice or decision, there is a better option. A bad business partner or a partnership falls through or ends. Bad merger or a merger fails or falls through. Quitting school or a job or career, especially to pursue something else. Leaving a company or school, especially for another. Bad investments. Bad time to take out a loan or make large purchases, such as for a home or car, etc. Being overcommitted at school or work. No longer enjoying school or work. Exams may need to be repeated. Need to see a financial planner, accountant, or advisor. Need to see an academic counselor, tutor, or advisor. Dream job or subject becomes a nightmare. Be careful when making decisions. There's a possibility of being wrong. Lying, cheating, stealing at school or work, either by you or someone around you. Not a horrible time financially, but also not particularly great either. The upright lovers in a personality, jobs, and thoughts reading include couples of all kinds, friends, friend groups, loving families, camaraderie between co-workers, a cooperative society. Twins, very close friends or siblings. Marriage counselors, psychologists, advisors, consultants, officiators, wedding planners, matchmakers, mediators, anyone bringing two or more groups or people together. Moral, ethical, and virtuous people. People with a strong sense of right versus wrong. People who have to make decisions. People who are disciplined enough to reject temptation. People who communicate well. Orators, translators, anyone in communications. People who are chatty, verbose, or wordy. Writers, authors, poets, songwriters, bloggers, vloggers, YouTubers, actors and actresses. People who speak to the masses. People with warm, loving, kind energy. Empaths. Humanitarians, philanthropists, and charitable people. Romantic people. Gemini or strong Gemini birth chart placements. Strong Mercury energy or birth chart placements. The reverse lovers in a personality, jobs, and thoughts reading include loners, introverts, and people who don't enjoy the company of others. Antisocial people. People who do not want to be in relationships. People who would rather be separated from society. People who don't like making or cannot make decisions, so indecisive people. Immoral or morally weak people. People who do not have a strong moral compass. People who lie, cheat, and steal. People who don't communicate well or avoid communication. People in troubled relationships or marriages. People who have disharmonious family, friend, or work relationships. People who love someone who doesn't or can't love them back. People with an immature approach or view of love. Stalkers or obsessive people. Fickle people or those who fall in love quickly and constantly. Opponents or enemies. Non-committal people. Players, cheaters, Don Juan types, and sexual deviants. The advice, outcome, and actions of the upright lovers may include: you are surrounded by love. Show more appreciation for the people you love in your life. You are blessed. You must make an important decision. This choice is the right one. Only you can decide. Seek guidance from a mediator or counselor. Seek support from your loved ones. Focus on your relationships. You will enter a partnership soon. You are loved and admired. Someone is interested in you. This person is a good fit for you, either romantic or business. This program or career is the right fit for you. Maintain your morality and virtue. Do not give in to temptation. Resist the urge to lie, cheat, or steal. The advice, outcome, and actions of the reverse lovers include: a relationship may be going sour. Communication is key. Try to increase or improve communication between a partner, friend, coworker, or family member. You may have been misunderstood. You might have hurt someone's feelings. Separation may be necessary or inevitable. You are avoiding an important decision. This may be a bad choice at this time. Do not shirk your responsibility to make a decision. You may be getting bad advice from a counselor or mediator. This is not the right time for commitment. This is not the right time for a relationship. The relationship is not stable. You are not on the same page with your partner. The person is not interested in being or working with you. Attraction is not strong enough to justify pursuing a relationship with you. Reconsider a life choice. Someone is being sneaky, dishonest, or unfaithful. Someone may give in to temptation. Someone is leaving or separating. So, we've gone over some of the meanings traditionally ascribed to the Lover's card, and we've touched on a few of those meanings as they pertain to love, money, people, and actions. We're still not done, of course, as we need to now incorporate words and phrases that we sense through our intuition and through practice. At this point, I leave it up to you to add to these categories as you see fit with more meanings, or remove some of the meanings that don't resonate with you from the list that I've given. The good thing about tarot is that it is abstract and subjective, and for the most part, the meanings that are traditionally given to the cards are something of a suggestion. In the end, you could ignore everything we've talked about today and give the lovers your own personal meaning, as long as it helps you read the cards in a productive manner. Whatever method works for you is the correct one. With that being said, I would now like to turn it over to you and learn from all of you. What are some meanings you have found to be characteristic of the lovers in your experience and practice? If you use other systems of tarot, such as the Tarot de Marseille, what differences would you note when comparing the meanings to those of the Rider-Waite system? Are there non-traditional meanings that you use in your practice, and if so, how did you come to use them? Okay, that's it for now, and I hope this helped you on your tarot learning journey. If you'd like to see more videos about tarot, then please feel free to subscribe to this channel as I aim to make more videos on topics related to cartomancy, witchcraft, and occultism in general. I also plan on doing some book reviews and recommendations on various topics related to esoterica and spirituality in the future, so be on the lookout for that too if you're interested. If you want to help this channel grow, then please interact with this video by liking it or sharing it with other like-minded people. And please do leave me some comments to let me know if this was helpful at all, or if not, how can I make it more useful? What other topics would you like to see discussed here? Please leave any suggestions or questions in the comment section below if you want. Thank you very much for being here with me today, and I hope to see you all very soon in another video. Take care, and we'll talk soon.